Welcome back. Instant Spurs episode 6. Sure, there's some happy Spurs fans out there tonight. Finally beating West Ham away 3-0. First win there since 2019 when we beat them, when we had Mourinho in charge. Chris, how you doing, man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Well, I mean, it's always a bit easier on the back of any win, let alone one against West Ham. So yeah, I'm all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it was kind of like a fuss-free win, wasn't it? It wasn't any worry after we got that goal and then they got a man sent off. It was practically game over, weren't it? So stress-free game, really. And that was, I guess, it was good. And it was good to get a win after that horrible performance against Bournemouth. But, Chris, I've got to say, that West Ham team are
Yeah.
dismal, aren't they? They are not a good side. And look, we'll get into it. We'll talk about the game. But let's say a couple of hellos in the chat. Big up to Scott. Hope you're good, man. We got the win, but another poor performance, especially in attack. Yeah, we were chatting about it, weren't we, in the group? And Scott says as well, this squad has zero creativity, and it's going to be a problem. Look, I do have some concerns, and we will get into them. I think Chris has as well, so we're definitely going to talk about it. And evening to David. Evening, gents. How are you, David? Hope you're good. What did you think of the match? Bump up your volume a bit. I'm a bit quiet. Am I any better now?
A little bit, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. People in the chat, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check my settings, make sure I'm on the...
Could hear you, mate. It was
audio.
just a little bit quieter. Yeah, I think it's a bit better.
Let me test it. Yeah, I think I'm okay. Let me turn off the echo. Will help. Maybe that's better.
Oh, that's a lot better.
Yeah, I had it on a different setting. But anyway, big up to everyone watching. Hope you're all good. So yeah, where do we start with this one, Chris? I just thought it was very poor kind of beginning of that first half, really, wasn't it? Very lackluster. We let kind of West Ham come on to us a bit. They had a couple of half chances, but didn't really threaten us. What do you think, Chris?
Well, I suppose let's start with the lineup, I guess. I mean, I was worried when I saw the lineup. And it remains to be seen, I guess, and we'll see how it pans out with the Champions League. Like how much of this is rotation for the Champions League. The Tell one was the worry for me, and how much of it, I wonder, was just a little bit of a apology for leaving him out of the Champions League squad. I don't know, but when I saw that he was up front and the midfield three, ultimately, I think job done today, but like you said, it's a poor West Ham side. I don't think that midfield and that forward line wins us many games of football this season. But against West Ham, things didn't go for us initially with a goal and that. Well, I'm sure we'll come on to that. But then they ultimately did go for us, right? We scored and they had a man sent off, and then we could just chill and it was absolutely fine. It wasn't a problem. But I don't see that midfield three has got enough creativity in it to cause any problems going forward. I think Simmons has got to play a 10, but obviously he's got half an eye on the Champions League and he's trying to make the best of the fact we haven't got really a left winger at all. So, and Richarlison obviously has been away. Brazil's a long way away as well, so maybe he's tired. So he's doing his best with what he's got. But I mean, it worried me. And the first 20 minutes, half an hour, I didn't think we did a lot at all, really. I thought that they were the better side. I think what we also saw, though, is the one bit that wasn't changed at all was our defence, right? And I don't think we were really in that much bother. So I do think we've got a pretty solid defence.
Yeah, I think that was a good place to start, Chris, because I was quite surprised when I saw that lineup. I don't know, Tell playing up front when we got Richarlison there, Mawani there. It was kind of what's going on here? Why is he playing? I know he's got a couple of goals in international break, but it did worry me. And then obviously no Bentancur, and then we saw Bergvall and Sarr in there, which I felt would be okay because you need legs. And I looked at West Ham's central pair in their midfield, very slow. I thought we'd get amongst them with Sarr and Bergvall. Simmons on the left, I like you, Chris, I would have preferred to see him more central as that attacking creator. Kudos, obviously, we expected, and the defence is a defence. So look, it threw me a little bit when I saw that starting lineup, but it's West Ham. Yeah, West Ham didn't even play with a striker up front, did they, Chris? They
Yeah.
had one on the bench.
Well, to be honest, that was a feature of the game, really. That none of us had, neither side had any focal point up front. When the team was announced, I thought it would be quite a narrow front three, because I thought, well, there's no point us playing with width and whipping crosses in when you've got Tell in the middle. And yet, albeit it was probably more from corners, we had more crosses today than I've ever seen us have for a long, long time. But we weren't really ever going to win many of them, not with our attacking players anyway. You saw Van der Ven and Romero cause a few problems, but if you're playing with Tell up front, he's not going to be winning headers, is he, really? I mean, I'm not sure he's going to be winning a lot, but so yeah, it all confused me a little bit. But I guess we've got a lot of games, and there's an element of we don't have strength and depth in every position, and sometimes you've got to pick a weaker team so you can pick a stronger team in your next game, and you need to get away with it a little bit. I don't know, maybe it's a bit harsh to say we got away with it today, but let's be positive. Let's put a positive spin on it and say, give Frank the credit for identifying that maybe this was a game where we would be able to play this level of team, because I don't think we can in many away games get away with that this season.
Yeah, let's go to the chat and just go over some comments. Scott says, never under any threat. The defence again gets high marks for me. Yeah, we did well in the defence, I think. We weren't really tested at all, to be honest, throughout the game, which is very poor from West Ham, being the home team, especially when they had 11 men on the pitch. They didn't have a striker on there, did they? And Somerville, a couple of little runs from him, but I wasn't worried about them at all. And I was more kind of frustrated with how Spurs were playing and not taking advantage of this opportunity, because West Ham didn't impress me at all. Anna Cole, evening to you. Brilliant win. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, great to get a win at West Ham. Ronnie says Rich has only been back one day and Mawani is not match fit and has not played for months. So maybe that was why that was the decision with Tell. Or like you said, Chris, was it kind of he felt sorry for Tell for leaving him out of the Champions League and felt he should give him a game? We need to see Tell, right? Do you know what I mean, Chris? Like, I don't particularly rate him. I don't quite understand the signing, but he's here and Frank's got to know what he can offer. And from that kind of, what was he on, 70 minutes, 75 minutes? I think I can't roughly. He offered very little in that, and he was kind of lost up front. Chris, what did you think of Tell's performance?
Yeah, I mean, I tried in my head to spin it in a positive way when I saw the lineup, and I thought, well, at least if you're going to play him, from what I read, like he thinks he's a centre forward, and that's what. When we signed him, I read the views of some sort of German commentators, and they were saying that the guy's a striker. He's not. Yeah, he has played on the left, but that's not where you should play him. So I was trying to spin it in my head and thought, well, I wouldn't have picked him, but the fact we have picked him, it was a big game for him to go. He has got to show us all something as to why we spent the money on this guy and why we should have any faith in him. And the longer it goes on, the harder it is to believe that that's suddenly going to appear. I mean, he's been with us for almost 8 months now. And yeah, I didn't think he did a massive amount today.
I felt quite sorry for him, really. He just looks lost, doesn't he? Looks out of his depth.
I mean, let's be honest today. We realistically, we did an Arsenal today. We all of our strengths came from set pieces, right?
Look, that first half, it was, and I think we got to grips with the game. That second part of the first half, Chris, didn't you think? We were pushing to score, set pieces, corners after corner. We had that goal disallowed, which, what's your take on that, Chris, in the kind of refereeing law?
I thought it was really harsh. What you got to understand when you're refereeing is, in the moment, things can be a bit deceptive, right? And you've got to piece together your best guess at what's happened, because you don't get a second look, right? You've got to give us a split-second decision. And a lot of decisions, I know most fans aren't going to like this and think it's ridiculous, but this is just the facts. a lot of decisions you just give on a gut feeling as opposed to being absolutely definitely certain that someone's been pushed or whatever. That's what he's done. The guy's
It was
gone.
the first one, wasn't it? It wasn't the one where the guy was marking him. It was the one before he pushed someone in the face. Was that right? I think.
Yeah, I don't think it was given for that. It was given for the push on Walker Peters. So that was Manuel Fernandez, is it? Is that his name?
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a bit like a sort of domino effect, wasn't it? Fernandez went into Van der Ven and he went into Walker Peters. Now, Van der Ven does make a move with his hands. I don't think he's done any more than any of the other players, any of the West Ham players. So I think it should stand. However, my expectation of VAR is not to get involved with stuff like that. And this is where fans want everything. They want to criticise things, depends on what the scenario is on the day. So we've seen lots of criticism already this season for VAR getting too involved, and they should stay out unless it's absolutely basically like a matter of fact. But then when they don't get involved, like here, we want to criticise them then for not getting involved as well. And it's like you can't have it always. So it's not a VAR error for me. It's an on-field mistake. And let's be honest, if VAR didn't exist, the goal's still being disallowed. So
it was soft, weren't it? It was soft.
Yeah,
I think it should have
been. Being up in arms and going, let's get rid of VAR. That doesn't change anything about that goal, right? It still would have been disallowed. But I agree with you. Really soft, and you've got players doing exactly the same thing from either team. You should just let it go. But he's seen it. Basically, it's gone in. He's seen the guy on the floor, and he's kind of put two and two together. I'll be honest with you, refereeing sometimes is a little bit of guesswork. You don't always guess right, and he didn't in this case.
Well, so we're kind of like dominating that first half without scoring. I just think like we needed somebody to stick it away across something, someone to be, that instant striker to score. We just didn't have it. Tell wasn't offering anything. It was all kind of just, corner after corner. We'd get close to the box, poor final ball, overlaps on the fullbacks. Kudus was trying. It was just a bit of huff and puff. But, it was better that we were dominating. It did take some time. And, like when we had the West Ham fan on the show the other night, he kind of said this, West Ham will push at the beginning for the first 20 minutes. And then if they don't get anywhere, they'll kind of lose control of the game. And he was right, because that's what happened.
Do we know, Dad? Do you know if Fulkrug was injured today?
Yeah, he was injured. Yeah.
Because for me, he's just an absolute shoo-in. He's got to be playing in that team because they lack any kind of focal point whatsoever.
Yeah, so first half, I wasn't impressed, to be honest. But, it was encouraging that we were trying to, I think we were dominating the game. And if you look at the attacking momentum, it swung in our favour, halfway through that first half. And then we got that early goal, right, Chris? Talk us through that one. It was, wasn't it Xavi's corner, right?
Yeah.
He got his first assist.
Look, our set pieces were good, right? Our corner delivery from both sides was pretty good. We were doing exactly what teams have done to us for the last 2 years, really, which is just put it right down the throat of the keeper, right? And what we did really, and they are shocking, by the way, at defending set pieces. I'd be very worried if I was West Ham. But yeah, a good goal. I'll be honest, I thought the first half largely passed Sarr by. I didn't think he offered a lot. And that's what worries me in that midfield. At half time, I was thinking we need more creativity centrally, but in the end, we didn't, because once we scored early, and then the sending off followed super quick, didn't it? And then we kind of just shut the game down, and we scored immediately after the sending off. So, within 10, 15 minutes of the start of the second half, the game was done, really, wasn't it? So we didn't need that. But going forward, generally, I think we need more creativity there. I don't think that midfield three of Bergvall, Sarr and Palhinha is going to win us too many games. I wouldn't play Bergvall in this game for sure. I was watching a stream the other day, and there's this big debate about, do you play Bergvall today or do you play him on Tuesday? I would have gone Bentancur and played Bergvall on Tuesday, but you don't know.
Think of his performance though, Chris, because Bergvall got man of the match. He scored, he assisted. He's a very busy type player, isn't he? He likes to get on the ball. He tries, he puts a lot into his game. Sometimes he runs down blind alleys, but the effort's there, from him. He's so young, Chris.
He did well today. My question mark with Bergvall, I think he's quite good at moving you up the pitch and running with the ball. and he'll take the ball on 20 yards. And my question is then, what do you do now?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he often does a lot, but I can't today. You've got to park that a little bit and go, actually, he did very well today. I mean, he's got, at the end of the day, he's walking away with a goal and an assist, isn't he? So he can't moan too much.
And the game got a lot easier, didn't it? Once West Ham went down to 10 men, we completely dominated.
Like all fans, I was hoping we'd push on for a fourth, and a fifth would have taken us top of the league. But in fairness, fans want to see that. But if you're a professional, you're going to go, let's just kill the game completely, shut it down. We'll take it easy. Don't do anything unnecessary. Take off the players we can take off. So at that point, we just went professional mode, which is, and going back again, I don't want to always make every stream about Ange, but Ange always used to say that they were relentless, right? And no matter the scenario, we'd always keep on going. We'd always keep pushing. But if you don't need to, just declare, in a cricket
manage the game. That's what, isn't it?
Declare. Don't do anything stupid. And we did. We did. It was the second half was super professional performance, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to the Sky Sports commentators, there were a lot of praise about Spurs' performance. I just didn't think it was anything special, to be honest, Chris. I just felt there was something lacking. We lacked urgency. We weren't passing the ball quick enough. I mean, Simmons was tidy, I felt. He didn't put much wrong, but you're not going to get a lot out of him on that side. He's not a winger, is he? He's not a touchline winger who's going to take on his man, whip a ball in. He's more kind of a technical passer of the ball, have a shot. He did try and have a shot, didn't he, which was deflected. And then you had Spence constantly going on the overlap. I thought he could play quite well, Spence. What do you think of his performance?
Yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about any of the defence, really. I like Spence.
In the attacking way, Chris, how he was getting up there.
Yeah, the only thing I really like Spence. And for me, depending on who we're playing, Spence should be our first choice. I think what we should do going forward, look at the opposition. We pick Spence on whichever flank their strongest winger is, and then we fill in our other fullback gap with Udogie or Porro, depending on where you're playing Spence. That's where I rate Spence. I think he's our best fullback by a mile. Going forward, I do like him. I think he makes good runs. I'm not sure his end product is amazing, but he's a fullback, so you can't be too critical. But he's always busy, isn't he? He likes to get forward. I mean the transformation in him from a guy who Conte wanted to bomb out the club, and let's be honest, and tried to get rid of him, and then reluctantly was forced into playing him, and from that point onwards. Because that's got to be a challenge to your mentality as a player as well. I mean, it took him, was it 2 years or 3 years to get his first start for Spurs?
Yeah.
That's got to be a challenge. And fair play to him now, full England international. And like I said, he's not my first name on the team sheet, but when I'm working out who I'm playing fullbacks, he's the first name of the fullbacks for me.
No, he's been good. I liked his performance. He's quite a tricky player, isn't he? How he manipulates the ball on that left, takes on players. He's really good. Defensively, he's good as well. Overlapping, maybe could work on his final ball, but that's the problem, isn't it? He's not left-footed, right? Yeah. So he's always having to kind of. You saw,
didn't you? He tried to do the outside of the football a couple of times, and actually they weren't the worst balls, but yeah.
I like what Jimmy said in the chat. Big up, Jimmy. Says, to put things into context, West Ham are terrible and likely relegation candidates, but a win's a win. That's how I feel. That is how I feel. I just think it was job done. 3 points. We had to win that game. We could not afford to lose that game. They were so poor, West Ham. And
what, Dan? Though we need, this season is going to be a long season. There's loads of games. We need to be able to put in relatively average 6 and 7 out of 10 performances and come away with the points, which we certainly haven't been able to do for a while. So in that sense, I'd expect and hope, you want your team to be super entertaining and really easy on the eye and scoring 5 and 6 every game, but it's not going to happen. So there's going to be plenty of games like this. And if we can be professional and we can take the points, sometimes you just have to go, we weren't amazing, but fair play, we did our job, and that's the most important thing.
No, and I've very good points, Chris. Very good points. I was going to say something in a second. Big up, Billy. Hope you're good, man. Big up, Dan, Liz, Chris, and everyone in the chat. Hope you're good. Big up to Guy as well. How are you, man? Did you go to the game today? I don't think you did, but yeah, let us know. He says, I like Jed. He's becoming a great wing back. Fair enough. He's doing really well. No, so look, so let's go back to the game. So we got that goal. And then, yeah, saw a header from a corner. You know, it was going to come, wasn't it? The amount of corners we were having, one of them was going to go in. And I think West Ham are like the second worst or the worst team of
Yeah,
defending corners. I think I'm right there. So there was always an opportunity to score. And when you're not playing with a striker, you know, that was kind of looking like how we were going to score from a set piece, to be honest, Chris. Because as we've said, that the creativity just wasn't quite there. Tell offered very little at all. And it was just getting bullied off the ball throughout the match. So then after that, we had the sending off. So it was Souček on Paulinia, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'll bore you with a little refereeing anecdote. So that used to be something that I would coach my referees, that the probably the majority of red cards for serious foul play come from a miscontrol, and that's exactly what happened. Paulinia didn't control the ball properly. Sorry, not Paulinia. Souček didn't control the ball properly. It ran away from him. It just happens all the time. They lose control of the ball, and in kind of a desperate attempt to make up for their own error, they lunge in. Literally is out of the coaching textbook for referees. Just be wary when someone miscontrols the ball that they might lunge in. Exactly what he did. It was a really straightforward one. Jared Gillett was very well positioned for that. Instantly got the red card out, didn't he? And you saw the damage to Palinia's socks, right? So yeah,
he had to go. He had to go.
Yeah, it's not a lot to discuss about it, really. It's
straightforward, weren't it? Game over for West Ham. Then very soon after, Romero with a great pick out, wasn't it, for Bergvall, who timed his one well, got on the head of it. He did really well, Bergvall, for that goal. I thought it was a good goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was pretty much immediately, wasn't it, from the free kick? It was a great run, great pick. It reminded me a little bit, I suppose. Do you remember the old days of Alderweireld used to ping a long ball for Dele Alli to run onto? It was that sort of a thing. And yeah, great header. There wasn't a lot else he could do. He had to try and loop it over the keeper, didn't he? And he did it absolutely spot on. So I'm not sure I was ever aware that Bergvall was any good at heading the ball, but that was a good header. And at that point, that was it, wasn't it? That kind of 2 minutes where they got a player sent off and they're 2-0 down.
And it's good. And obviously, sometimes when a team goes down to 10 men, it's not always that straightforward, you know. So it was so good that we did get that second goal quickly and just take the game away from West Ham. So you've got to praise that. You know, I know we've kind of obviously talked about some worries and concerns, and there's a little bit more we're going to talk about that. But that was really good to get that second goal so quickly, kill the game off. And like you said, you know, we did manage it really well in that second half. So after that, there was another goal, right? Not too long after. So you had the Bergvall goal on 57 minutes, and then Van der Ven goal on 64, and it was Bergvall involved again, wasn't it? In that, you know.
Yeah, at that stage, you know, the third goal was coming when it went in. To be honest, that's when you want us to carry on. You think, oh my god, this could be 4, 5, or 6, But yeah, I think the assist was a little fortunate. I'm not sure it really means to put it back, because it comes from a corner again, doesn't it, initially? And then it gets played out wide again and comes back in. And Bergvall, trying to sort of get it out from under his feet a little bit, ends up poking it back to Van der Ven, who's on his wrong foot, by the way. Hits it with his right foot. But he strikes it really sweetly, doesn't he? And he's got a shot on him, hasn't he, Van der Ven? He's hit a few now.
It's his second goal this season, right? I think.
Well, yeah, because he scored against PSG, didn't he? So and game over. What I really like from that point onwards is, like I said, as much as I want us to go, oh my god, let's rip them apart, we just completely shut the game down, and that's what a professional football team would do, right? So, fair play.
We did have some chances, didn't we? We could have scored a couple more, but we didn't really go for it, did we?
That keeper made a great save from Kudus near the end. Brilliant.
Yeah, he did. And we made a load of subs. The Doggy came on, Danso came on, Johnson came on. We didn't see Mawani. Richarlison came on and Wilson. And look, I mean, I really wanted Kudus to score, to be honest. And he came close, didn't he?
Yeah, it's my general concern about Kudus. Look, he started brilliantly. My only concern ultimately about him, it's not always about GA, right? Because there are different, you need players that perform different roles. It's not just about goals and assists. And he does a lot for us. He holds the ball up. He can bring people into play. He can beat players. But I do wonder a little bit, certainly with his goal output, from what I've seen of him and looking at his career history, I'm not sure we're going to get huge amounts of output from him in terms of actual goals. But overall, I thought he had a good game. He didn't rise to it. He seemed to be enjoying it, really. He had a smile on his face quite a bit with all the booing.
Yeah.
Put in some great crosses.
He did. And if we had a striker up there, we could have done a lot better. You need a proper striker up there, Chris. I'm sorry.
That wasn't lost on me, Dan. That it did cross my mind at half time when we were not struggling, but hadn't massively created a huge amount. I thought, I reckon it'd be a different story if we'd have had Solanke playing. And hopefully he's not too far off.
Or even Richarlison, anybody physical who can get on the end of a cross, someone who's going to work those centre backs. Tell didn't work them at all. This is the worry. I don't know what's going to happen with this player really, because he's not been fantastic on the left. Centrally, he's not it. Look, we'll have to see with him. I just don't know. I just don't know how it's going to go with him. And he comes off the pitch and, you saw Frank kind of really celebrating with some of those subs like Van der Ven, really pleased with his performance. And he's just, Tell goes off, just a little tap on the back, well played. And yeah, I just don't know with him. But Chris, just going back to this question from Jimmy, he says, let me just bring it up. He says, is this the season he sees Bergvall develop into a truly meaningful midfielder? What's your thoughts on Bergvall?
I mean, I don't think he's our first choice player at the moment for our strongest 11. But we've got a lot of games, so
he's creative, though, isn't he, Chris? He does different stuff. Well, in kind of bringing the ball forward, he runs into the box. He tries to take on a man. He's what I can kind of say about Bergvall is that he's I don't know what the word is, Chris, but he tries to make things happen. He tries to get the ball forward. He's positive in his thinking. Some of our midfielders to pass it sideways, backwards.
Yeah, no,
Bergvall is more positive. He can spray a pass now and then across the field. I've seen him. I don't know. You don't think he's it?
What he could be, maybe. I don't know whether the chat might go mad when I say this, but I don't.
Think that's the question, though, Chris, isn't it? Could this be his season where he does develop?
Yeah, maybe. But what's he going to develop into? Because I don't think he's a number 10 at all. I don't think he's that sort of creative player. But he could maybe develop into like a Frank Lampard kind of player. Gets pitch and then sort of attacks the box late. I don't know because he's a Chelsea legend, but Frank Lampard was a bloody good player. If he's half the player Frank Lampard was, I think we'll be very happy with that.
He's a box-to-box player, isn't he? Maybe he's not a number 10. Maybe he likes to kind of bring the ball up the pitch. He's back and forward, running around a lot. I bet he puts in a lot of miles in the game. But look, it's hard to know, Jimmy, to be honest, how it's going to go. As Chris said, I think he will get a lot of game time. I do hope he develops this season. We saw some flashes last year. It's just, we'll just have to see how he gets on and how he develops in the side. And just there's just so many questions right now about Frank and what we're going to look like under Frank longer term, because it's so early still. I was quite critical when I was kind of watching the game. There was a lot of stuff I did not like at all. But then again, I think Frank is still trying to work out what his best team is. He's trying different players, in different positions, which again, some people are not happy with. You should keep players in their positions. But I'm not too sure if he actually knows his best side yet. I think it is early days. There's teething issues. We're not going to be perfect. But saying all that, we've not started the season too bad. 3 wins out of 4. 3 clean sheets, right, Chris? So, there's work to do. And I think there is a lot of work to do with the team. But it's encouraging signs, and you just hope that kind of, I just don't know what we are really at the moment, Chris, under Frank. What would you say we are? Because a lot of people kind of think, well, we're kind of like a set piece team now.
Well, we were today. That's for definite. But like you said, I think it's too early to answer that question. Not only have you got Thomas Frank coming in to a new set of players, and it takes time to put your philosophy across and for it to be repeatable on a consistent basis. I think that will take time. But not only that, you've got new players coming in. So like Simmons, God knows how many training sessions he's had, probably a couple, because we signed him and it was immediately international duty. So you can't expect that him, and obviously Mawani, who has not yet played a minute for us and probably isn't fit, you can't expect that you can really see how do Mawani and Simmons work in a Frank system. You're not going to really have the answer to that for another at least 6 to 8 games, I wouldn't have thought. You've got to just temper your expectations a little bit in terms of football's so reactionary, isn't it, these days? And people just want to jump off the back of a win. I'm sure loads of people today will be saying that we're amazing. I'm not sure that that's true, but even when we had the stinker last week, it doesn't mean, people just jump on it and go, oh, I told you Frank's rubbish. Look, at these things take time. So it's going to take quite a while for us to see exactly what it looks like under Thomas Frank. So it's just a hard question to answer, really. So Dan's just stepped away, so I'm just going to have a look at what you guys are saying in the chat. I can't bring your comments up, unfortunately, but I can read some of them out. So Jimmy's asking about Bentancur for Palhinha on Tuesday. I don't know. For me, I don't think we've got anyone who can really do what Palhinha does. So it worries me. My default answer is Palhinha for every game. Just talking about Jimmy's comment, mate, at 8:37 about Bentancur for Palhinha on Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, I think so. I think so. We need him for a game like that where we're going to probably dominate the game. I'm not sure. What do you think?
The problem with any of these selection dilemmas, right? We can't play whoever you think our strongest 11 is, and whoever Frank thinks it is. You can't play them every game because we've just got too many games. Now, that's fine. So you've then got to factor in some level of rotation, and then you start to ask any of these questions. When does Tell play? When does Odepair play? And you can answer it however you like, but you know what's going to happen. So the second that you do that and you start to play players like that and we don't get the result, then it's like, well, why didn't he play the strongest 11? So I feel like it's a bit difficult to answer the question because it's all
this
about...
This is the challenge, Chris. This is the Frank challenge, isn't it? Managing 2 games a week. This is what we struggled with last season under Ange, right? We didn't get the balance right. Yeah, so we do need to rest players. We do need to change it up, depending on the opposition. Obviously, if you're playing a really good side, you need to play your best side, and then depending on the Champions League fixture, you can change 1 or 2 players match to match. I think looking at the squad, I mean, it's difficult to put exact numbers on it, but we've got a good, once all our players are fit, we've got a good starting 11. Maybe we've got another 3 or 4 who can come in and keep that level at max. But after that, I'm not sure if the level can remain the same. Say if you put in a Doggies for Spence, it shouldn't be an issue. Romero for Danzo. There is cover in certain positions. I mean, left wing, we really don't know what's really going to happen with that side. We're going to see it chop and change week to week until Frank is happy with a player who could keep that position, because I just don't know what we're going to do there. How many players played in that position today? We had Simmons playing it. Then we had Tell went in there a little bit. And then at the end, Wilson went on there as well. So he just doesn't know, does he, Frank? And neither do the fans, because we all know we need a top left winger.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you can't fix everything, can you, in one window? So it's no surprise that we're short somewhere. I always thought that was going to happen, whether it be the number 10 or as it is the left wing. I mean, realistically, I think we'll see how Mawani does. I mean, I still think we're short up front, and it depends what you're talking about. Short for what? I mean, if we really want to push on, how many of our players really are Arsenal, Chelsea, or well, maybe not Chelsea, but City or Liverpool looking at us going, "I wish we had them in the team." Probably not many. So we've got a lot of work to do over the next few windows. But left wing is by far the. If you look at our sort of average quality level, left wing it dips quite significantly, right? And that's my worry with Tellen Odebear. I don't see it in either of them. There is an argument to say, well, you've got to play them and give them a chance. But I come back to this, like last season when we had a lot of the kids, Mikey Moore and all of that, and people are going, clamour to play him and Lancashire and whoever else. But the second you do it and you don't win, you're an idiot, right? And why has he played him and why didn't he go? So that's where you earn your money, man. That's where you become a good manager or a bad manager. You're judged in. You've got to make the decisions before the game, but you as the manager, you get judged in hindsight after the game when everybody can see what happened, right? So
yeah, exactly, Chris. Ricky Villa TV, evening to you. Says 3 points, a decent performance. There will always be moaning people who think we haven't played prime Spain 2010, but they can stay in their basement. Look, fans will be critical. Fans will overpraise performances. I just think it's just what it is. This is what fans, every fan's got their own way of thinking how they want to analyze the game. Some people are probably thinking, what an amazing performance, 3 goals, and what a game. But I watched that performance today, and yeah, I think it wasn't perfect, but there was a lot of good stuff. There was a few good performances I liked. But as I said, and I said a little while ago, there's a lot of work to do. Frank's got to work it out. He's just come here. It's going to take time. I'm not going to judge it too harshly. I will criticise poor performances, but that isn't isolated to the game. Doesn't mean, I think Frank's a bad manager. It's just that this is what we do as fans. We praise wins and good performances. And if we don't play well, I was really critical against, when we lost to Bournemouth. I thought we were terrible. I thought Frank got out-coached, and it's such a shame, really, because if we'd have won that game, we would be clear top of the league. But look, we don't want to get too carried away. So, go on, Chris.
There, though, Dan, where we're not going to play. No team plays their best every week. Right? That just doesn't happen. So, they always say it's a sign of a good team if you can not play too well and come away with the win. And that's what we've done today. I don't think we've played badly by any means. But I don't think we played brilliantly either. We've just gone there, we've done what we needed to do, and we've come away with a win. And you can't knock that. I don't think that means me and you here, although we're saying, look, we weren't amazed, I don't think that means we're being negative. We're just sort of saying, well, it's a positive, but we're not going to get carried away by a performance like that, because that performance doesn't win us a lot of away games, I don't think. So,
West Ham were terrible, honestly, Chris. They were really poor. And I kind of heard that they've been playing well and they're really struggling. Their transfer window wasn't great. Players are really struggling with Potter's system. But actually seeing it, the game, 90 minutes, they offered very little, didn't they? Really did. That was probably the easiest game against West Ham we've had, Chris, don't you think, for a long time?
Look down the squad list as well. And it's funny because at the start of last season, I thought, not the summer just gone, but the summer before, I thought they'd had a pretty good window. I thought they'd signed some good players. But you look down the squad list now, I don't think there's a lot there to think, give you confidence going forward. I'd be really worried. But I do think we're going to see, I think there are half a dozen pretty crap teams in this Premier League. I think you're going to see a mini league at the bottom of probably the 3 teams that came up, in all honesty. Wolves look concerned. That's my hometown team, by the way. I'm concerned for them. That over a number of years now, they've just sold their best players and not bought anybody significant in, and you can only do that for so long. So Wolves would be a concern. I think West Ham would be a concern, and I don't know the score at the moment, so I might look stupid. But Brentford are
winning, I think.
Are they? Oh, yeah, brilliant!
Yeah. Jimmy said in the chat 1-0. Let me double check that.
They are. Yeah, I take it all back. Brentford are amazing.
I haven't got a good record. Chelsea at Brentford, they haven't got a good record there. It's their kind of bogey team.
Yeah, so that would be a surprise. I don't think Chelsea will be right up there. I think Chelsea are two. There's too much flux there in terms of just the number of players and having something settled. But they could go top if they win. Chelsea.
Yeah, so we want Brentford to win that game. Just going to Jason's comment, he says a left winger and a striker is a must for January. I had a feeling long before the end of the summer transfer window that we were going to be left short and we need to sign in January. Back Frank, yeah, I think that window we could have done more. We were
going to be left short because we needed a lot. We needed a lot. It doesn't surprise me. I think that's ambitious honestly, I think in January, if you can address one position, you've done all right.
Bringing a top player. A top player.
A top player, that's what I mean. I think expecting it'd be really difficult. All eyes will be on whether Savinho gets game time over the next 2 or 3 months, and I'm sure we'll be going for him. But also, look, what I will be positive about, it's an exciting time to be a Spurs fan. And if you'd have spoken to me 6-7 months ago, I'd have said this is the most depressing time to be a Spurs fan. We've got a terrible manager. We're playing terrible football. We're probably not going to win the Europa League because early on in the knockout, you just assumed we wouldn't. We've got Levy in charge. And look, almost all of that has gone, right? So we did win the Europa League by some absolutely miracle. The miracle of Bilbao. We don't have that terrible manager. We don't play terrible football. We don't have Levy. Like, what a time. Who knows what will happen because the grass isn't always greener, but we are going to see what happens with the Levy family over the next couple of windows. And right now, at least you have some reason. If you're optimistic and say, I think we're going to be different going forward, I can listen to you now. People used to say this every window. It's going to be different this window. And I just couldn't take it seriously because it's like, well, it hasn't. You've said that for the last 24 years and it never was. But now there's a reason why it might be different. It might not, but there's a reason why it might be different. That should give us hope. We haven't had a lot of it over the last 20 odd years. So let's revel in the hope and think that maybe we might go on to better things in the next couple of years. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, look, good points again, Chris. Just big up to Holly in the chat. West Ham get better everywhere they go. Yeah, but you're very happy tonight, Holly. It's always nice to beat West Ham, isn't it? You know, and as I said, we hadn't won there since 2019. That was just too long, wasn't it? Too long.
Jose's very first match in charge. And
that lovely Dele Alli flick, wasn't it? You remember on the touchline? Great goal. And about Berthold, he thinks he's Mayor's not impressed with him.
I agree, Scott. I don't like how often I agree with Scott. I think I need to review some of my opinions, but generally speaking, I do agree with him a lot. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's just a young player, isn't it? We've got to give him time, you know.
Today is not
too carried away.
Pushing that. I completely agree. I think we've massively overgassed Bergvall. But today is not the day for that conversation because he had one of his better games for us and you've just got to hold your hands up and go, fair play. He did well.
Yeah, true. He did play well. Yeah, he got a goal and assist, so he contributed to the win. So, yeah, fair play to him. And, let's hope that continues. Golden Sun, evening to you. We need Kulu back ASAP so Kudos can play left wing. I don't know. I think Kudos is best on the right. But what Kulusevski will bring, he'll bring experience. It's a player that can make an impact. A question marks over his consistency, but I don't know if that's more to do with the manager, the system at the time, playing him in the right position. We will see when he comes back because he suffered quite a serious injury. So I don't know what sort of Kulu we're going to get back, Chris.
What he does is absolute, genuine, proper depth, right? Let's say he's not in the first 11 and you go to him on the bench. He's a quality player and we don't have that at the moment. And also he brings something different. He's whether you play him centrally, I think he's slightly better centrally in my opinion. Although when he first joined us, he was an absolute terrorized people down that right wing in that first few months under Conte. Unbelievable. But he's a completely different type of, if you do play him wide, a different type of winger to Kudus. So I think that's really important to have not just the strength in depth in numbers, but to have different types of players, right? And he absolutely is a completely different type of player to Kudus for me. So I 100 will be massively benefit from Kulu coming back. But I'm not necessarily sure it's a game changer for our first team. I'm not even sure he gets in, if I'm honest, but we'll see.
Yeah, we just need as many options as possible. It's a long old season, a lot of games to play. I just don't know what this Frank team's going to look like down the line. I really don't. I don't think he knows himself yet who the best starting 11 is, who he can rely on. Obviously, the set pieces are. We seem to be putting in a lot in set pieces, which is important to win games. But if you look at our goals so far, Chris, in the season, the chances we've created. What's your thoughts on that? Because it's some I hear thinking that we're not attacking particularly well. We're getting results, we're grinding them out, but there's a lot of question marks on how we attack and how we create.
Yeah, so I've got a needy dog behind me. Yeah, but we've had to start the season with Richarlison, and I know we love doing this sort of stuff. Going, oh my god, he was amazing for the. No, he wasn't. Not for me. Like, he was all right by his standards. He played quite well. Is he amazing? I didn't think he was amazing.
Who, Richarlison?
Yeah, but he was the best we've had this season, right? It's all we've had. So I'll cut him a bit of slack, really. Let's see what happens when we have Mawani up front or when we have Solanke back, who are better players, in my opinion. Then we can begin to judge. I don't think you can judge us too much going forward, right? We haven't had Simmons in. Kudus obviously still getting used to a new team. So it's massively early days to start making those judgments, I think. All you can hope for in this early period, whilst we're trying to all get on board with Frank and understand exactly what he wants and be able to repeat it consistently, until you get to that point, which I think takes 2 or 3 months, all you can hope for is committed performances, get the results. And that's broadly, barring one performance, that's what we've done, right, under Frank. We've had what now, 5 games under him, 5 competitive games. And
it's been functional, wasn't it, Chris?
We've had 4 pretty decent efforts, really. We weren't brilliant against Burnley, but we got the result. I thought we were superb against City. That said, we only really had one meaningful attack, and we scored off it, and we scored the second off James Trafford's mistake. We were absolutely appalling against Bournemouth. We just chalked that up to experience. Hopefully it was a good learning exercise for Frank. And today, again, committed, structured, Dan. And that's the biggest thing. What I have seen since Frank has come in is a structure to how we play, which tells me that we're not going to be particularly easy to play against. Am I right in thinking we had, this could be wrong, so before anybody crucifies me in the chat, did we have 4 clean sheets in the league last season?
It wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Great.
Yeah. It's different under Frank. He's such a different manager to Ange. He's actually putting stuff into the defending, the structure of the side. We look more secure. It's not perfect yet. There's work to do, but it's a step in the right direction. So I think we all have to see these kind of things as, we've got to look at the positives. But again, we don't want to get too carried away, because it's not perfect at the moment, Chris. It's nowhere near perfect. And I think there's a lot of work. I think we still need to bring in better players into this team. I think there's some of the players in our squad, I just don't think they're going to cut it long term. I really don't.
Where do you think, here's a question for you then. Here's a question for you. So this is the squad we have at least until January, right?
Yeah.
So where do you expect that, bearing in mind we've got the Carabao Cup to play and we've got Champions League, we've got 6 Champions League games this side of Christmas, I think. So where do you expect come the end of this year, 2025, we will be in the league going into the new year?
Where do I expect us to be?
Because this is all we've got, right? We can't. If you go to the end of the season, you could say, well, we might go and sign Savio but until January, this is all we've got. So what do you expect this will get out of this set of players going into the new year?
So I think we've performed against the teams that we should be beating, right? Burnley, yeah. West Ham, I think we're better than them. Beat them. Man City, it was a fantastic performance, I think. Really, Frank got that spot on. Yes, there's the whole thing about, we always beat City, but hey, I still think it was a very good performance. I really enjoyed it. And then there was the worried performance against Bournemouth. So I just think I want to see us more against those kind of teams, like Brighton next weekend. That they always give us a good game. Brighton, they move the ball quickly, they attack. They're a good side. Yeah, and it's those type of games I need to see how we get on with. Bournemouth we didn't do very well at all. I just think so. If we beat the teams we should be beating, yeah, the top teams will play. I think we'll do okay as well because how Frank sets up, he plays it tight, free at the back, catch teams on the counter, use our strengths. I think we'll be okay. I'm not saying we're going to win them all, but I think we will nick some results against them. So it's kind of against those other teams which are chasing Europe. So I think it could be anywhere right now, looking 7th, 6th, roughly. But as I said, Chris, I need to see more of Frank. I need to see more of it. It's just such a small sample size right now, isn't it? Like 4 games, doing well so far, work to do. I think we'll probably know around Christmas how we juggle all the different competitions, and then I can kind of gauge where we are. But I don't know, Chris. What's your take on it?
Well, YouTube, everybody knows better than to make predictions, but I'm going to go and make a prediction. Sorry.
Go for it.
I'm just looking through our fixtures. I know football doesn't work like this because we lost at home to Bournemouth 2 weeks ago. But you look through our fixtures, you know what? They're pretty kind to us, barring the fact we've got 2 games a week, of course. I recognise that. But we also got a pretty as easy a draw as we could have got probably in the Champions League. So I'm looking through our sort of next fixtures. I reckon by the end of October, it wouldn't surprise me if we are in the top 2 or 3, which sounds amazing, but I'm not saying we are that good. I'm saying I'm looking at the fixtures thinking, I think we can do pretty well in these. The harder games start to come in then. November, we have Chelsea, Arsenal and PSG. And then December, we've got Newcastle, Liverpool. So we will see ultimately. But my concern with it and why I sort of said I think by October we could be 2nd or 3rd is whilst I won't be at that stage going, oh my God, we could win all this, oh yeah, but could we? That used to drive me up the wall and do it. Yeah, but could we? And no is the answer. And I think the same thing's going to happen. I think we could be right up there. Maybe Arsenal or Liverpool might go off in the distance and be completely clear. But I think we're going to be in the top 4 by the end of October. But I don't think that necessarily means we're in the best 4 teams. I just think
we're going to stay there. It doesn't mean we're going to stay there.
I don't expect us. And that's what annoys me about our fan base, because I think if we are, it will be full of, we could challenge for the title. I'm like, no, not at all. I don't expect that. And I expect, we will, like any other club, we've got to play every other team. It's just that at the moment, the fixtures have fallen really kindly for us at the start of the season, which is great for Frank, by the way, because if they didn't, and we'd lost to City and we played Arsenal and lost, and we played Liverpool and lost, and we'd gone to Newcastle and lost, the amount of pressure that would be on Frank, especially from the people who love Ange, it would have been intolerable. So I'm pleased that we've got a relatively easy run. I'm pleased we've started well. I think we'll carry on doing well. How sustainable that is come November or December. There's a lot to be said for momentum, mate. If we are in the top 3 or 4, who knows then? Because it does breed confidence. I'm not saying who knows we could win the league. I'm saying who knows maybe we could stick around 4th or 5th. But we'll see when the games really start. We need a favourable run with injuries and all that kind of stuff. But I believe in this manager, man. I believe in the manager. I really do.
That's good. Fair play, man. We'll see when we get to that period if your prediction was right. Hope so.
When we're like 15th and you can come back and cut this and go, this idiot said we'd be 2nd or 3rd.
I just want to see progression. I want to see wins. I want to see how we get on against those kind of good sides who are going to cause us problems. I want to see how Frank manages it, and it's intriguing stuff. Just go through a couple more comments in the chat, and then we're going to shut down for the night. Nige, big ups to you, man. Hope you're good. Only real negative for me is that we took our foot off the gas as soon as we went to 3-0.
It's
I
not a
wanted
negative,
5
man.
or 6. I get it though, bigger games ahead. And we had this conversation. I wanted more goals. I wanted to be top of the league above Arsenal. But then Chris kind of put it like this, we don't want to get injuries. We don't want to I don't know. I think we could have scored a couple more. I really did.
We could. Look, if this was the last game of the season and we needed a couple more in the goal difference, then I can go for it, right? But we have a long season ahead of us. And I think professional teams, that 3-0, the game is done. And professional teams just go, right, we're just going to shut it down. We're not going to exert ourselves. We're just going to make sure we don't do anything stupid. And I absolutely think that's what we did. Don't get me wrong. When the third went in, I sent into one of my group chats, I sent in 2 more. We're top of the league. So I fully get it. But I completely understand why professional football managers go, nah, don't worry about. Like, if another opportunity comes, great, but don't exert yourself. We've already won the game.
Yeah, true. Just a couple more comments in the chat. Scott doesn't think we're going to address anything in January. We will see. We better do. We must now.
This cheery old soul is Scott, isn't he?
This new ambition. They're saying they want to. Then the Lewis family. They were there at the game today. The cameras are on them. They want to take Spurs further. We'll see. So they must invest. And in top players. That's what I want to see this window. The window's coming up. I'll be watching very closely. Paul Brown says, "Don't shoot me," but the final score flattered us. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect performance, but we take it. We take it 3-0, and we'll see how we get on against Brighton and how we get on against Villarreal in the Champions League on Tuesday. A couple more comments. Oh, Nigel's got a question. Enich said they're putting 100 million into the team in January. Then we will get a sponsorship deal of 90 million. Does this mean we have 190 million in January to spend? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, we need it, but the thing is with this 100 million, this needs to be. I don't know, Chris, because to kind of really push this club forward, we need more than 100 million. I'm not saying. Yeah. One window. We need it kind of constantly, window after window, clever recruitment, improving the first team. It's very difficult, isn't it? Competing against some of the best sides, teams, owners with lots of money. We will have to see. But, as a Spurs fan, what we want is just Spurs to do all they can, the owners to show that ambition, get us up that league, push on, try and win a trophy, compete with the best. It's hopeful, isn't it? But
I think you also have to bear in mind with that. I think we obsess too much about a specific amount of money we've got to spend. I mean,
it's how we spend it, isn't it?
The money just needs to be there to regularly improve whether it's X million. I don't really care. The money's got to be there just to continually refresh and improve the squad. You've got to bear in mind as well that don't fall into the trap too much of thinking Savio and then we've got an amazing team, maybe for 6 months, but you've got to bear in mind that 2 of these players are on loan. So you've got to be planning about, are we going to plan to make either transfer permanent? Are we going to offer for Moani? Are we going to trigger Palhinha's clause?
Yeah.
If not, what's the alternative? You need someone else to be coming in. So there is still a lot of work to be done because, 2 of these players are on loan. So.
Big up to Jay Ashraf. Not impressive. Odegaard cuts in, passes back, never see him take on a man. Yeah, I wasn't impressed. I've not really been that impressed with Wilson. He's just not brave enough, is he, on the ball? He just plays it too safe, I think. Let's see if there's any more questions in there. Golden Sun, we need an answer to left wing problem. Kudos with Kulu right or Witchy with Solanke up top. Tell Odegaard, Johnson are not the answer. This is what it is, isn't it? Like, Frank has to shoehorn these players in because we don't have a top option on that left. And that is a problem. We wanted Savinio, so obviously they do want to get that left winger. And let's see who that is. And I've just seen something, Chris, that we've got actually more clean sheets than we did than the whole of last season. I need someone to check that. I don't know if that's true.
To be honest, mate,
that is a mad one.
When I said it, something at the back of my mind said, I think we only got 2 clean sheets, but I thought that can't be right. So I said, I think we got 4. But
In the Premier League, maybe. I don't,
yeah.
Probably in some cups we didn't concede, of course, but in the
I
Premier League.
know one stat which was true because I checked it out at the time. So the first 2 games we had back-to-back clean sheets, right? That only ever happened in the league twice in Ange's whole reign.
Yeah.
And one of the first times it happened was in his first 3 games, I think. So for almost all of his reign, he only ever had back-to-back clean sheets once. So it's positive signs. I mean, we have, I think the vast majority of sensible football fans would say you can't just have a philosophy of let's just attack and we're not even going to bother worrying about the defense.
Yeah.
It doesn't get you anywhere ultimately.
And first game today got battered, didn't they? Completely dominated by Arsenal.
Yeah, you can't blame. I mean, as much as I don't rate him at all, you can't blame Ange for that today. But I don't think I'll make another prediction, mate. I think he'll be sacked before the end of the season.
Well, we will see. We will see. Right, Chris, I'm going to shut down now. Big up to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for all your comments. Thank you for watching our response to that Spurs win. 3 wins out of 4, 3 clean sheets, Champions League football Tuesday night, all to look forward to. It's not all perfect right now, but Frankie's getting results. There are some positives. And just let's just see what Frank does before Christmas. A lot of games coming thick and fast. Lots to talk about, lots of games to review. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of drama. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Cheers, Chris, for coming on, mate.
No worries, man. No worries. Top 4 by the end of October. Let's revisit that.
We'll remember that one. Guys, in the chat, please smash the like button if you're watching. Sub if you haven't. And as always, come on, you Spurs. Take care, everyone. Good night.